The book I want to show you today is this Platonov Chess Academy, using Soviet-era methods to improve 21st century openings. In reality, the book is not about the openings themselves, but about how this Platonov, a great player for Lev Albert and Grandmaster Palatnik, was able to analyze some positions and understand them deeply. And what it really gives you is this. And I think this is the part you should care about, because here it says it reveals top chess training secrets of Soviet champions, deeply examine the theory of the Sicilian defense, which is important because then it teaches you how to examine it. Notice that these guys were able to analyze without an engine. So we need to learn from them, because at a certain point maybe you will play in a tournament of every board and they will not allow you to go to the toilet every 3 seconds, right? So, and then it says offers you a real strengthening of your chess understanding for intermediate players to grandmasters. I want to show you of this book 3 games in the center of the book that they are against Tal. So this guy, Platonov, played Tal 3 times with different results. I think it's worth it because, Tal is a legend of attack. Here we can see Grandmaster Platonov with the Leonid style behind, and let's see the masterpiece, because obviously to beat Tal wasn't so easy, okay? And here it says chapter 4, Platonov versus Tal, 3 epic Sicilian duels. A person's life can't be an uninterrupted string of pleasures, and the sporting life of a chess player can hardly be an unblemished string of wins. That's why, when you beat a worthy opponent, it is a joyous event. And about this, sorry if I interrupt the book for a second, but this is what I also felt important at a certain point. I started to play in tournament sections that were above me, also if I were losing, because those games meant something. If I beat one of those guys, it meant that I was good. Otherwise, if I beat someone that he was not strong at all, it's just a waste of time. Everybody can do that, right? So, and here it says, and if you are able to overcome a true genius, the resulting masterpiece, you can scarcely beat a genius without creating one, is an achievement worth commemorating. This next game was such an achievement by our friend Igor Platonov, who created it against the great chess genius and world champion Mikhail Tal. So this was Mikhail Tal. Platonov played in the USSR Championship Alma-Ata in 1968. So Tal plays e4 and Platonov starts with c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6. Then there is knight c3, a6. Platonov chooses the Najdorf Sicilian, Najdorf variation of the Sicilian, yeah. Here practically the problem is that we are at the famous 6 moves, and the move 6 can be everything, this, whatever you can think of, unfortunately is there, no? So if you have to play the Najdorf, you just need to start when you are 3 years old, so by the time you are 15, maybe you have covered it all. Bishop c5, e6. Queen f3, h6, bishop h4, knight bd7, castle, queen c7, and bishop e2. Here there is a diagram. Luckily in this book there are a lot of diagrams, and so it helps you a lot. Why? Now, let's say that you're black. What would you play? No? Notice that you are playing against Tal, and it seems that Tal castle a little too early, because as you can see, it's giving you a direct idea, no, on where to attack. So in the game, Platonov played this, bishop e7. But let's say that you say, haha, but why he didn't play this? Which kind of grandmaster is? He has an attack, b5. Well, it seems that there was a trap, and here you can see it. e5. Oh, wow, what do you do here, right? Here it says that he continued with bishop b7, because e5, yes, attacks this, but also attack this. So bishop b7, he decided that he needs to defend this and attack the queen, right? But then it's white turn again. What do you think white will play? Because when you play a move, you must also think what's the next move of your opponent, right? In this case we have Tal. Tal is crazy, right? So you must imagine a crazy move. Boom! Knight takes e6. F takes e6, obviously. And what do you do now? Oh, wow. Again, we have crazy, eh? And crazy Tal. And this is still attack. So, what do you think white is going to do? Well, queen h5, check. And of course you say, well, I want that queen because I'm against Tal. If I have a queen advantage, I should win, right? But, check again. Oops, now you start to realize that there is a problem. Because you don't like to watch what is the next move of your opponent, and you realize, oh, what's going on here? Oops. Yes, so Tal gave you a queen, but that queen was poison. So be careful when you go with some women, because they can be toxic and destroy your life. In this case, this destroyed your life, because this is checkmate. So let's return back. Okay, so now we have seen the problem of b5, and we understand that bishop e7 is better. Why? Because that trap that we saw is not working anymore, since now the king could actually escape. So how does Tal continue? In this position, he continues with rook h e1. And now there is a very courageous move from Platonov. Try to imagine what would you play next if you were black. I'm not saying it's the right move. I don't know if they analyze this book with a strong software. Maybe they did, but this book is from 2012. We are in 2024, so I guess that software, maybe Houdini in that time, is not strong anymore. Especially after the AlphaZero match that was maybe in 2019, in which gave the rise of a neural network engines. So, boom, g5. So sometimes I'm speaking because I'm giving you the time, one, to think, or two, pause the video, because you need to do the exercise, okay? Bishop g3. And now, once again, black continues with an interesting move. knight e5, queen e3, and now b5. So now it's probably the right moment to finally open, to push that pawn to attack on the queen side. Notice that black is leaving the king in the center, and I don't know, it's very, very interesting, this thing, because the king in the center is one of the themes that have been used by world champions like Tal to destroy enemy positions. And so here it's interesting to see what will happen, okay? a3, rook b8, and here there is a diagram, no? The fact that there is a diagram is generally that asks you probably to find out what would be white next move. Here, strangely, Tal took a kind of cautious approach. And this is Tal 1968, okay? This is not Tal 1990 that maybe was sick. This is Tal 1968, so he was probably in good form, right? He played f3. Instead, what I was thinking is why he doesn't play this, no? And in fact he says white could instead reduce some of the pressure with f4. So f4 is a move that the author advised instead of f3. Maybe it was used by Houdini. To this move, now black replies with an interesting move, because he's going to do a kind of maneuver. And this kind of maneuver you must pay attention to, because you will be able to use them in your own games. Obviously the attack is here, right? On the queen side, because the queen side is where the white king is. So black plays knight f d7. The idea of this maneuver is tack, tack, okay? And I believe that this is what was going on here, to attack all of this. So that's the move. And it seems that it also discourages a possible plan, this move, that is made by bishop f2, then g3 and f4. Okay, this would be probably white's plan. And why I show you the plans? Because they are more important than the rest. Practically, when your opponent play a move like this, you must ask yourself why, what does he want to do, and then you must imagine this, okay? And if your opponent plays this, you must imagine this. So these are the things that are really important and that they show us. So I'm very happy that they did. But after this move, white immediately plays f4. And I don't know. So probably was waiting to avoid to have the knight jump here. I don't know. G takes f4, bishop takes f4, and now there is the next move. Can you find the next move by black? Because I think it's an interesting move. It's something that you must think about at a certain point. You want to open the position to attack that king. So what would you play if you were black? Black played b4. Very interesting move. A takes b4, rook takes b4, rook f1, queen b6, b3, and now there is knight g6. Well, it's nice because we are making a diagram every few moves, so it's kind of easy to follow. So notice knight here means that he can do this, so you must kind of be careful. And here of course you see Tal. Tal, what does he do? Does he really protect there or plays another move? Well, Tal played bishop h5. And here it says white is correctly concerned about the double attack. In reality, it's not a double attack, it's a fork. And the pin along the h6 c1. h6 c1. Yeah. Because obviously the problem is that if you do this, there is this, okay? So, and here there is the king, so you cannot move the queen after. Let's see, what do you think black is going to play now? There are two sharp moves. What would you play if you were black? Black played rook takes d4. Another sharp move shown by the book is knight takes f4, but this is clearly exciting. After which there is rook takes d4, knight takes f4, and keep in mind that probably bishop takes f7, not so winning, okay? So keep in mind, after this, rook takes f4, why bishop takes f7 is not winning, no? So let's say that we were in this situation, okay? Let's say that instead of rook takes f4, you play bishop takes f7. What would happen? That after this, if you take, because you have to defend this, then there is this. And why is this winning? Because, yes, this takes back, but once you move this, remember that there is bishop g5, and you are stuck, okay? Now let me go back. Okay, so the move played by Tal was rook takes f4, and of course now there is the pain. After all, at a certain point you must pay, right? And the move is bishop g5. Great move. Great move, yeah. But if it seems that there were nice calculations by Tal, and I want to show you. By the way, the book is nice because while they use a diagram every few moves, they also use little diagrams to show you the analysis. And I tell you this because generally I review a lot of books. I like to see the differences, and I like to understand what is better for me. So here Tal said, instead of playing, he calculated also this, and go to see how far Tal calculated. Tal calculated at least 4 moves away, okay? After e5, boom, he calculated this, rook takes f7, bishop g5 with advantage. So that's it, but there is another one. Let's see what happens, because Tal calculated different moves, okay? He said on 23 bishop g5, no? He prepared this, d takes e5, bishop takes f7. And here there is a little diagram, yes. And if the king departs on e7 or d8, white wins. So you see, Tal also calculated the possibility that he would win. How? No? How? So you must not play this or this move, because otherwise you lose, okay? Because if you play this, okay, and then you take the queen probably. So that's why you cannot go on e7 or d8 because there is a discovery check. Here it doesn't show you, but okay. The refutation, by the way, and also Platonov calculated this line, and Platonov said that he would have played this. Boom! So, can you see? You need to watch a couple of moves ahead. In this case, these guys are watching 3 or 4 moves ahead. Okay? How does white continue? He fought this, bishop takes e6, e takes f4, and boom, rook takes f4. So this is all calculation. Notice we started at move 23, we are at move 27, okay? They saw it. Now, king g7, rook f7, king g6, and black wins. Okay? It seems there is another possibility. Let's see, after 27, let's see. He said 27, what was it? Rook takes f4. So, track, yeah, probably it was here. Let's see, let me go back to be sure that I'm taking it right. Just a second. Okay, so I found the right position. It seems Platonov calculated also this. Why they know Platonov calculation? Because in one of the pages they even show one of Platonov handbooks, in which he shows his lines, and that was really interesting, I think. Here we go. So imagine, in that time, this guy was able to make a drawing of his own chessboard, and this was one of his notebooks, just to give you an idea. In any case, Platonov calculated in case white plays this, boom, and black wins, okay? So also in this case, black is able to win. As you can see, they calculated a lot of variation. Now I will return back to the actual position in the game. Okay, I think I put it right back where it was. And so we are in this position. As you can see, the Sicilian, it's very exciting because it's very sharp. And you have to calculate, but as in this case, at a certain point it gives you a good return, right? You can actually win against a legend. Okay. How did white Tal continue after bishop g5? He played bishop take f7, king d8, e5, rook f8, knight e2, getting ready to swap in case he takes on f4, but the guy takes on f7, h4, wow, beautiful move, bishop takes f4, knight takes f4, and of course now you have another great move that maybe you wouldn't think of. So you're black, try to think, what would you play? You need to pay attention and remember the themes of this position. The themes are that this is hanging, and there was this kind of pin. Now this has been resolved, but this is still hanging, okay? So you must be careful, because if you play d takes e5, you find yourself with rook takes d7, and white is going to collect this. So as black, Platonov played d5. Okay, once more, if you take this, you need to be able to see that. Okay, d5. How did the game continue? g4, rook g7, g5, h take g5, h take g5, and king e8. Knight h5, and now you need to find black's move. What is black's move? Black played a very interesting move, rook h7. But why it's interesting? Because in order to play this move, you need to know what happens after this. Take on h5, g7, king here, oops, boom, okay, and now, so you see, we are practically entering endgame. Endgame you really need to calculate far, okay? So, after this, what do you play? The right move. So, this was what Platonov was able to see in his game. He found the right move, queen d8. Because if you make the mistake of playing this, you lose the game. Why? Boom. You understand? Now there is this. It's a mess. It's a mess. So it's kind of very interesting, I think. And as you can see, also in this case, no? Because this is what I notice most of the time. In order to be grandmaster level, you need to be able to calculate correctly 4 moves ahead. And we see it in this game by Tal, when he was refuted by Platonov, and also in this final endgame position, and also in Bronstein. Bronstein games, he has some collection of his games, and you see always that when he calculates a combination, it's 4 moves ahead, and that's when he beats the other. And the same was when Fischer beat the other. So let's return back to the position that Platonov calculated, that Platonov played in the game. Okay, I think I put it right. Now white, instead of g6 that we saw that Platonov would have thought of it and found a way to refute it, white played knight f6, which means that also white saw all of that I just showed you. Otherwise, how would he find the right move? Knight f6, knight takes f6, e takes f6. This e takes f6 obviously is very interesting because it creates 2 pass pawn. 2 pass pawn, if they reach the 6th rank, are generally worth a rook. Okay, so you must be careful about that. Rook h1, check, king b2, and now there is another great move by black. What do you think black played? Try to think for a second. Black played rook h4. Okay. Now white played c3, but another possibility was this. Okay. So what would happen with this move? Let's see. Okay. Okay. So let's say that instead of c3, he plays rook d3. Queen takes e3. Rook takes e3. And now you need to find black's next move. The next move is d4. And there is rook g3, obviously, e5, g6, and rook g4. Boom! Amazing move. Why? Because e5 has free that bishop. but he never moved from there. Can you imagine? By the way, we are at move 40 practically. That's ridiculous. Rook h3, rook takes g6, rook h8, king f7, rook takes c8, and king takes f6. And here it says, when with an extra pawn, black should win this endgame. Now, the question is that I think this kind of position should have been solved by the table basis by now. So, the black should win this endgame, I don't know, it's interesting. Boom. Okay, that's an interesting thing to evaluate. Guys, I think an exciting thing to do should be to discover if black actually wins or not. And this kind of thing will happen in your games, so try to discover it, because it will give you a library of ideas that you actually will use to save yourself when maybe you are in white's position. Okay. With that said, let's return back. Okay, so we were in this position and we analyzed what happened when white plays rook d3. In the game, he played c3. And how does it continue? Obviously, check and king a3. By the way, I just realized now that this bishop has never been moved all the game, so that's kind of amazing, I think. Very interesting. It seems that maybe it was stronger to play a5 now, but Platonov played rook c2. Okay. Queen h3. Queen a5 check, rook a4, queen c5, rook b4. Oops, interesting. Yeah, a5 and queen h8 check, king d7, queen h7 check, king c6, queen takes c2, a takes b4, and king a2. Okay. Now there is a problem, obviously. Because if you play king b2, what do you think would happen? Well, after queen takes c3, check, queen takes c3, b takes c3, check, king takes c3, king d6, g6, and e5. And here it says, when black detains the enemy pawns with either his bishop or the king while advancing his own foot soldiers. So we are in this position and he thinks to be able to block them. Why? Because if you play this, there is this. If you play this, there is this. And so what do? Notice that the bishop controls this, so this can die, but these two, how do you stop them? So yeah, very, very interesting. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, I would say. As you can see, all these pawn endgames must be calculated. Once more, it was like 3 moves ahead. You had to calculate if to play king a2 or king b2, and you had to know, because if you don't know, you're going to lose immediately. So let me go back. So we were in this position, and Tal calculated that this was a losing move, so he played king a2. And it's nice. This game, honestly, it's nice. It's a very long game, but it's really nice because it's teaching you also the endgame. B takes c3, g6, that's a problem, and e5. This amazing move that detain the pawns. f7, and now you need to do something, right? Yeah, but look, this is keeping bet. That's interesting. And so he played bishop e6. And white played queen d3. Very interesting. Now you are black. As you can see, it seems a simple position, right? Look, there are not many things. What do you do as black? Okay? Because, of course, here there is a mistake, a possible mistake. The mistake is c2. You say, what? How is a mistake c2? I'm going to get another queen in one move. Queen a6, king c7, f8, queen. Queen takes f8. And queen a7 with a perpetual. It says perpetual. It says we have a perpetual. I don't know. So why we have a perpetual? We play this. Check. Oops. Tuck. Tuck. And c1 I have another queen. So I don't think it's that. Ah, wait. I don't take. I give check again. That's why. That's why. Okay. Yeah, I don't take. I give check again because otherwise he gets another queen. It's not really a funny situation. Okay, wow. Interesting. Okay, let's go back, okay? So, as you can see, to beat Tal can be tricky. Why? Because obviously the guy tries every possible trick to avoid to lose the game, no? And so this was very appealing, but would bring to a perpetual check. And instead, Platonov found this, queen f2. Now, king f3, queen a7, king b4, king c5, queen c5, king a4, c2, f8, queen, queen a7, king b4, queen b7, king a4, c1, queen. Oh wow! I think the only game I saw with 4 queens on the board, if I remember well, it was Petrosian against Petrosian, and it was Fischer-Petrosian in the famous book 60 Games to Remember. So let's see what happened here, okay? Queen f1. Queen takes f1, queen takes f1, queen a7, king b4, queen c5, king a4, king b6. Oh my god, this next is checkmate. Yeah, and here he gave up. Okay, the next is a checkmate. That's why I tell you, you need to learn the checkmate first, because now you play this to avoid the checkmate here, but you cannot avoid another checkmate that is this. Okay, so that's a checkmate too. And this bishop strangely became important at the end of the game. We are at move 57. However, it's very, very exciting. A beautiful game against Tal, won by this Platonov. And here it says, wow, there is a post thing that says, it was always a pleasure for me to converse and occasionally debate with Igor, analyze variations and position and explore new ideas with this unassuming genius who had the gift of listening. It was often in the back of my mind that I was speaking to the vanquisher of Tal himself. Okay, and the next game against Platonov Tal is from 1969, but Platonov this time will be on white, and he will also win as white. Again, the book is Platonov's Chess Academy. I think it's an exciting little book that I think I bought for $5, so what do you want more from life? Have a good day and thank you for watching.